All right, Mr. Callen. My name is Steve Lacagnan. I'm the new president and CEO of the Morgantown Area Chamber of Commerce, and we appreciate you coming in to respond to the questions that the Chamber has for each of the candidates running for City Council. For the next 2 minutes, you will be provided an opportunity to tell the citizens of Montague County who you are and what ward you're running in and what your thoughts and ideas may be concerning your candidacy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm Eldon Callen. I'm a native of Montague County. I was born here in Morgantown. Grew up till I was 11 years old on what they now call Owl Creek. It was, when I was growing up, it was called the Weirton Mine Road. But Weirton Mine has been gone for at least 25 years or more, 30 years, I think. But my father was a coal miner and an auctioneer and a farmer and owned apartments and did a little bit of everything. My mother was a homemaker and she was involved in Democratic politics. She was one of the founders of Clinton Women's Democratic Club, and so I've been around politics in one fashion most of my life. I was fortunate enough to be in one of 8 children. My father was determined to get all of us through college, and all 8 of us did graduate from WVU, so WVU is a real asset for our community, but particularly to our family. I'm graduated in journalism, but all 3 of us went to school on an Army scholarship, and I graduated and spent 5.5 years in the military during the Vietnam era, and then I went to work for the United Mine Workers, and since then I've been in private business. I've been an attorney. I've been I got my master's in public administration, and then I was convinced to run for county commissioner. I spent 6 years as county commissioner, in which I really focused on my primary goal is to take care of the people and make sure the county's a better place for my grandchildren.
Thank you. Well, we're going to focus first off on the transportation bill, which was passed by the West Virginia legislature just a little over a year ago. That bill is a priority for the Morgantown Area Chamber of Commerce because it allows us to put a referendum before the voters to obtain voter approval of a 1% sales tax increase to improve roads and related infrastructure here in Montague County. What will you do to publicly promote and advocate for voter approval of the proposed sales tax increase for this purpose?
I may have an advantage in a couple ways on this bill. One, I served on the Transportation Committee as I was asked to serve on that as by Billy Atkins in the Chamber at the time. I was instrumental in not only lobbying for it, but helped write it and include different issues in there. Also, my position with the Chamber of Commerce, it's the #1 priority. And so from the local, let our counties act locally, what we have is an opportunity to take local funds to make up for lack of state funds and leverage that money for additional funds from federal or other funding sources to solve our infrastructure problems. The reality is the state does not have the money to do that, so we got to step forward and do that. As I'm going to separate my position as a chamber, in which I'm intimately involved in that, from a council person. As a city councilman with Morgantown, I would have an obligation to try to associate that bill to the overall infrastructure needs of the city, how we connect that with the other towns. Roads do not go to the edge of the city line, nor do they go to the edge of the county line. They go from one activity center to another. We need to focus on that, and we need to work with Star City, with Westover, with the other parts of the county, with the other counties. And as a councilman, I would advocate that we get on board both on the road construction plan, the financing efforts, and the fundraising and campaign efforts to pass this bill for projects that will be paid for and then end when the projects are paid off.
Thank you. The next question we have concerns the concept of an alliance, which would house the Morgantown Area Chamber of Commerce, Main Street Morgantown, Sunnyside Up, the Montague County Development Authority, the Morgantown Area Economic Partnership, and the Greater Morgantown Convention and Visitors Bureau, all under one roof in a central location in Morgantown. That is a priority for the Morgantown Area Chamber of Commerce. What will you do to publicly promote and advocate for this to become a reality, if anything?
I've had a great opportunity to serve on that market strategies committee from the beginning. I was like the second person they interviewed on the idea. I have, whether I was working at the federal level with the International Union of Iron Miners Workers or the various state levels throughout the United States and Canada, I've always advocated more efficiency. You've got to, government in groups such as the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, the Main Street Morgantown, there's some basic needs, no matter what you do administratively, that can be shared. And that money that's taken out of that, comes out of the actual mission when you add those administrative costs. So that's the one plus. The other plus is just the whole idea of economic and community development. When you have people coming into this area, and I just came from the Morgantown Area Partnership meeting, and we were talking about this very thing, into an area and they're not sure where to go, or they're looking for this particular size building, but the chamber doesn't know about it, or the development authority doesn't know about it, or Main Street doesn't know about it, then they get frustrated by having to go all these different places. The idea of coming together on these common missions, is just logical. Not only do you save money, but it saves the investors. It makes us more professional out to the community. We look like we know what we're doing to that investor, whether that investor's coming from New York, from Illinois, Iowa, or coming from Japan or Germany. That gives us that kind of reputation that we want to spread throughout the world.
Thank you, sir. The next question I have for you is concerning Metro government. What will you do privately and publicly to promote and advocate for the consolidation of local governments of Morgantown, Granville, Westover, and Star City into a single metro governmental entity?
This is something that I've been, again, it sort of relates back to what I was just talking about, the alliance or partnership concept. The duplication, the inconsistencies of going across this side of the street to that side of the street. If I'm trying to start a business or even trying to build a house, I got to do it differently on that side of the street than I got to do on this side of the street. It's a waste of effort. It's a waste of taxpayers' money, and I'm a big one. As a commissioner, I promoted the whole idea that we got to work together. And one of the things I did in first time I was president of the commission was to start a local leadership committee, is what I called it, and where we brought the school board, all the municipalities, WVU, the Chamber of Commerce, the county commission, and any other entities that we could bring in to focus on, let's find commonality. Let's find ways that we can work together. Let's save a lot of taxpayers' money and focus it more on creating a more livable community, a more promising community. Also, it provides the opportunity for business consistency. Why should a building be built on this side of the river differently than it is on the other side of the river? They all should be consistent. The investor should be able to know how that is. I think the most important part as a council person, again, outside of my role as the chamber, is that I need to look for those commonalities, find those things we can work for, and advocate it to our citizens, because it's ultimately going to be up to the citizens. The incentives from the state to join together are necessary, but it's ultimately going to be the citizens say, this is a better idea than being splintered like we are now.
Thank you. Our next question concerns Morgantown's user fee. Will you publicly support the idea of using some of the money generated by Morgantown's user fee to improve state-owned roadways that happen to run through the city of Morgantown?
Very much so. I've tried to work with different people in the city in the past, and the thing I've always emphasized is that we're all in this together. The Department of Highways is key to providing not only the main transportation service, but it's all got to be melded together to make a roadway access, to improve it within the city, between the cities, into the county, between the counties, and between the states. Those got to be connected. Now, currently, and over the last 4 years, we've really had a breakdown in relationships with the state agencies, and the DOH is a primary one. I stepped forward as a county commissioner and tried to convince the majority of the council to let me work out an agreement to remove trucks from downtown over a 4 or 5 year plan. And Paul Maddox was very interested in doing that, and I was rejected. I was told to go away. They had the majority, and that has created very much animosities. I can break that down because I get rid of that animosity because I have a very good working relationship with the Department of Highways. And as a council person, that's the first thing I want to do, is bring the Department of Highways in here to the city of Morgantown, see that we're focused on helping the process and the projects, and not pulling away from them or wasting their time and wasting their money, which that whole truck ban, it was just total waste of money, and it's created animosities that they told me that they really don't want to talk to City of Morgantown. Well, I'm convinced that if I'm elected, that they will talk. I know they will talk. They've already said so. I can bring that kind of focus that we'll still get our state money, but we can utilize money to upgrade areas that we really need to connect that user fee money and to the rest of the city and the rest of the county.
Our last question deals with your ideas to create economic development or improve it. What ideas specifically do you have to improve economic development and create economic activity centers within the city of Morgantown itself, since most of the economic development in the last 10 years has occurred outside Morgantown's city limits?
That's a real pet peeve with me, because since Dan Boroff left as city manager, our town has been going down, down, down. People are not coming into the town. People are leaving for a lot of reasons. And some of the people, some lawyers I know have said, well, it's because of $3 user fee. Well, that's not necessarily the case. They're not moving just because of $3 fee. There's just this whole attitude in the city of Morgantown that's been going on that we don't, you're going to do it our way or get out. Well, people are getting out, and they're not building. Why do we have a problem here with the Wharf District? Wharf District is not being developed properly. I have ideas as to how we could develop this Wharf District. Our riverfront is not being properly utilized. I have ideas how we can promote that. But we really do have to focus on the long-term benefits of everything we do on the council. You ban this, you ban that. You have a reputation throughout the state that you're hard to work with. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. Business people talk to business people. They're going to stay away. So when they come here, they don't go to Morgantown. I want to change that whole dynamic. They look to the outside. They look, well, I'll go over to Granville. I'll go to the town center. I'll go to the Suncrest Town Center. I'll go over to Star City even. It's on the same side of the river. And that's because it's this attitude that business is not important. Well, business is important, but we need to be partners with them. And that's really what I've always focused off through my entire career, whether it was the military or the unions, or when I worked for the unions. I was a big one, started the American Coal Foundation with 4 other American Electric Power and 4 other coal groups, because you got to cooperate and work together, because that's the only way we can grow together. If you keep focused to I'm going to get mine and I don't care whether you get yours, then you have no business in political office.
Thank you. We've now reached the point where you have the opportunity to address the citizens of Morgantown concerning anything, your candidacy, any additional ideas you have, any concerns you have. So feel free to speak your piece.
Okay, well, thank you. I very much appreciate this opportunity. There was some dynamic issues there that really need to be dealt with, and we need to recognize the shortcomings. I think a lot of times people are afraid for political reasons, or just they're afraid to make people angry. They won't tell people the way it is. The reality is our town has been going down. It's continued to go down, and it will continue to go down if we don't start and get a new focus and direction going forward for what's good for our grandchildren. What's our town going to look like? The fact of the matter is that when you have one simple group stepping out and say, I'm going to do things my way, and I don't care about the negotiations, about the debate, the public debate. When they parrot one another, you automatically know that they have talked about this before. We got a shadow government here in Morgantown, and a lot of people don't have the guts to stand up and say it. I am not that type of politician. I've always spoke, and if people don't like speaking the truth, then they shouldn't vote for me. But if they want to step up and say, I want the truth and I want to know what's going on, and I don't want to hear people parrot one another because they've agreed before how they're going to vote, then it defeats our whole charter. We got seven independent council people. They're not supposed to be partisan. I don't care what you call yourself. You can call yourself whatever you want to, Morgantown this or Morgantown that, or Mountaineer this or Mountaineer that. But if you're meeting outside and say, I'm going to follow this agenda and I'm not independently debating this in a public forum, then you do not belong on council. You do not belong in any political office. And that's why I'm running. I want to preserve this city and this state and this county, because we should be the bellwether for everyone else to follow. We haven't been, and that's where I want to take it. I need your vote. I need the people that think my way, that believe that they want this town to move forward, to vote for me on April 25th.
Thank you.
Thank you.